So we'll be heading on to the next section of the workshop now. I'd like to remind you that this workshop was brought to you by HealthTech Nigeria and IQ Labs. They are a number. These two organizations, HealthTech Nigeria works on healthcare problems and addressing healthcare challenges by providing accurate information. By IQ Labs, the tech company that emphasizes that provides solutions across board. So we'll be heading on to the panel discussion session now. That will be anchored by Blessing Alayande.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Obayori. It has been a really insightful and informative session. Thank you to HealthTech for bringing this workshop. And we'll be going into the panel discussion now. And with me, I would have Dr. Toluwanimi Obayori, Dr. Ayotunde Oni, and Ms. Nancy Ekwere. Are you on the call, please? All right, please, if you're on the call, can you mute your mic, turn on your camera so we can, it's supposed to be an interactive panel discussion. Thank you, Dr. Toluwanimi. All right. Do we have Dr. Ayotunde Oni on the call? Okay, we have Miss Nancy on the call at the moment. Okay. All right, we'll get started now so we don't take too much time. So my name is Blessing Alayande and I am program manager at HealthTech Nigeria. And as Pelumi said earlier, HealthTech Nigeria is a digital information platform and propagate accurate health information. We have different products and services, including the HealthTech video service. We also have the HF Live, which is an expert series that holds every 2 months. So without much further ado, we'll be getting into the panel discussion right now. And I'd like my co-panelists to introduce themselves. So Dr. Toluwanimi, over to you.
I am Dr. Obayori, and also a software engineer, full stack. And I do machine learning also. And I think that summarizes about me, actually.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. Nancy, over to you. So your mic is mute.
Sorry about that. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy Ekwere. I am a front-end developer, and I am passionate about building digital products that solves human problems. So that's that about me.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So I have a couple of questions for our panel discussion, but still, if you have any question on the chat, you can drop it in the chat or Q&A. We'll get to it before the session ends. Thank you. So I'd like to start with Dr. Toluwanimi, right? You mentioned that you're a medical doctor, you also do machine learning. So can you explain more about HealthTech? What do you think HealthTech is? And what is the past, present, and future of HealthTech?
Okay, thank you for the question. Like the word goes, HealthTech. It's basically health and technology together. You can think of it as a kind of intersection. You can think of it as a collaboration. It depends on the perspective at the end of the day, but it's just health and tech together. The past future, going by the history of medicine, actually, we can see we can see the medicine went from actually you saying something and then fixing it. You can think of it like reactive. The patient comes in with a problem, and then you try and solve that. You're reacting to it. Then subsequently, I think in those stages, the Hippocratic, you get stuff like interventions like bloodletting. Then subsequently, a series of different innovations came in and became scientific, whereby you could order an investigation. Subsequently, technology started seeping in and taking a very big part of it. And we are currently in a phase, I believe the phase we are in right now, it's a transition. Of course, at every stage, there's actually a transition phase, but with the sudden leap in technology right now, medicine in such a way that it's very dicey, very tricky to actually integrate new and non-existent procedures, abilities in such a way because people, you can't just perform experiments in human and expect results. Humans are humans. They have their own rights. You can't treat humans anyhow. And that's so every shift gets to medicine kind of late, relatively late, in such a way that every advancement in technology cannot reflect immediately in healthcare. And right now, um, I believe we are tending towards predictive medicine, and in such a way you can see a problem before it occurs. Um, of course, there are certain investigations being done right now. You can see someone can go for genetic testing, checking if they have the BRCA gene, um, therefore knowing if they have the risk of actually having breast cancer. Um, I'm thinking we are also tending towards a personalized form of medicine in which the person gets a care that works exactly for them using genomics. Um, and I said predictive, personalized medicine, the automation, of course, that was mentioned earlier. Yeah, I think that's where we are, and where we are trying to get to. Also, it's varies from different part of the world actually, because the advancement in technology in different part of the world actually differs. Nigeria is different from the US, and therefore there could be from mild discrepancies to a very, very severe one in where our health tech is, where it is going, and where it's coming from. And yes, that is what I can say about that.
All right, thank you so much for that. I would like to go over to Nancy now. I know you're a self-taught developer, so I would like to know what first sparked your interest in tech and, by extension, healthcare.
Okay, thank you for that question. How I started out in tech was, I would say, a very funny one because I 10 years ago, I would not believe that I'll be working in tech right now. So, how I started out in tech was I saw someone doing something on her laptop, and I was just so intrigued, and I was just drawn by the colors. I was like, oh, what are you doing? I can see you are typing something and something is changing on the other tab. She was like, oh, this is front-end development. I was like, oh, wow, I would like to learn how to do this. She was like, okay, fine, you can try this out, and if you enjoy doing it, you can just keep going with it. So that's how I started front-end development, basically. So for health tech, I interacted with a particular product that was some years back. I interacted with a health product, I think a web application, I'm not sure. And I noticed that that was a very, very delicate period because at that time I could not go out. I could not go to a medical facility because of where I was at that time. So my friend told me about this. I can't really remember the platform anymore. It's been a while. Told me about this platform where I can consult a doctor. I could book a consultation and time with a doctor, and that was how it started. I was like, oh wow. So tech or health tech or software is not just about building it. It's now like understanding that this thing you are building could actually affect people's lives and health outcomes. So that was where my interest in health tech began.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, as a medical doctor, I'm back to Dr. Toluwanimi. As a medical doctor, would you say that people need a health background to succeed in health tech? Why do you think so? Why or why not?
Um, can you come again with the question? Do people need health background or do people need tech background? Which one?
Well, I think we can go both conversely. You can answer for health, and Nancy could answer for tech.
Okay. Frankly, I am of the opinion that the best healthcare solutions are those built by the healthcare professionals themselves. You cannot solve a problem you don't know exists or you don't actually understand. I've worked with EMRs, electronic medical records, actually more than two. Actually, I've seen it work and I've used them, and I could actually point out things that are like, why this? Why is this? Why is this not like this? In such a way that you're stressing the professional unnecessarily, you're wasting valuable consulting time. Uh, you are allowing the doctor, increasing the odds of the doctor making a mistake by the way it's been structured. Um, it's not about just having the technology. If the hospitals cannot use it, if the doctors will not actually use it, if they are not adopting it, and of course, the pricing, whether we like it or not, Nigeria is in a state whereby most of the people that actually need this, the level of health, most of the health care that have been commonly needed are those that actually cannot access it, cannot pay for it. And therefore, I am of the opinion and I strongly believe that no matter what is being built, um, the healthcare professional is needed, whether to oversee, to collaborate, and of course to reiterate on the solutions.
All right, thank you. So, Nancy, I'll go back to you. Do you need a tech background to succeed in health tech?
You do not need a tech background to succeed in tech, not to succeed in health tech, sorry. And at the same time, it's very pertinent you dive into it, because if you're trying to build a tech product, right? I would also go with what Toluwanimi said. If you're trying to build a tech product, I would advise you have someone that is in the medical field, because while you're building this product, there are things, there are questions, no, not questions, there are problems they can't solve that you could give an answer to, because you've interacted with the patients, you understand the workflows, and you understand everything that goes on in the hospital, right? So it comes from a place of understanding, deep understanding that, okay, if you're working on this product, you need to also have someone that is well versed in the medical field. So yes, you really do not need a tech background to go into health tech. Having having the medical experience, the health experience is already an edge. It's already like a big deal. So I feel like you need to have a medical experience while working in health tech. It's very, very pertinent too.
All right. Okay. Toluwanimi, you have the floor.
To elaborate further on the answer, um, we have to look at it from a collaborative perspective, actually. Do we need an healthcare professional in building a particular solution? Yes. Do you have to be an healthcare professional to work in an health tech? No. Um, whether we like it or not, you need professionals from both sides to actually work together to build something worthwhile. And but personalizing the solution, making it reasonable, perfecting it if perfect does exist, needs someone who is in the system that understands the system, understand the weakness, the loopholes, and potential optimization points.
All right. Thank you so much. So I would also ask you again, I'll follow up that question that for students in purely health fields, whether you're studying medicine, nutrition, pharmacy, right? How can you transition into health tech?
Um, I'm transitioning into health tech. Health tech is a very broad field, actually. If breaking it down into both health and mental health differently, you'd see there are a lot of things you could actually do. Like I said, okay, about the question, sorry, is it transitioning into healthcare, is it specific to everyone or I need to personalize it?
Yeah, you can personalize it because I feel that is your journey. So you're in the best position to elaborate on that.
All right. Okay. I would just like to maybe give an instance of my own, just a part of the journey. Um, I believe healthcare professionals are, um, or let me speak for doctors generally. I believe we are engineers actually, both doctors, nurses, pharmacists. I think we are engineers in the basic form. We might not be dealing with machines, but our own machine is actually the human body. Looking at it in the most basic form, realize components come together to function, to do something, from cells to tissues to organs. Then you realize it's a whole collaborative effort, and that's actually how machines work. And transitioning to health tech, the journey is not exactly a straight one. There's no direct pathway to actually getting into health tech. The question is, what are your strong points? What do you hope to achieve? Where do you see yourself in 10 years, in 5 years, 10 years? And the end goal, why are you doing this? Yeah, I started writing code actually before I entered medical school. More like got to know about coding and dabbled into it, and then got into medical school, and then had to drop that, and then subsequently, while in medical school, started doing tech again. And then I realized at first it was a this or that for me. Why should you like you have to choose one than the other? But then I realized that they're actually very ingrained. You might not be able to work in fintech, but they are closely related, health and tech. Because at the end of the day, um, the whatever technology is being built is either to make life easier, to prolong life, make one live a comfortable life. So technically, everything still boils down to health and then using technology to help health. So you yeah, like I said earlier, health tech is very broad. You can be in the engineering aspect, you can be in the product management, you can be a manager, of course, supervising and then pointing out where and what needs improvement. The points where the question one has to answer is what is the end goal? What do one hope to achieve? And that will determine what pathway one needs to get into healthcare. And the one thing I realized is no matter what you're trying to do, someone else has attempted it, either they succeed or they failed. So looking at what the person did, um, the how whether they failed or not, learning from their experience will actually fine tune what one hope to achieve, and then looking at the feasibility, having your own pathway, and then you can talk to people. Basically, the social media is just a wide array, and then look for someone on LinkedIn, search, find someone, and this person is in where I want to be in the next 5 years. What did they do? What have they done? What are they doing currently? And what do they think that sector is going to be in the next 5 or 10 years? And yes, I believe those questions are pertinent before actually trying to dive into tech.
Thank you so much, Dr. Toluwanimi, for shedding light on this. So I'd like to go back to Nancy. I have had a discussion with you before about getting your first opportunity in tech, especially as a self-taught developer. So how can students get their first opportunity in health tech?
Mm, Getting your first opportunity in health tech, you can start with proof of interest, not just proof of perfection, because one of the mistakes we young people make is try to make everything very perfect before putting yourself out there. So if you want to start, you could volunteer. You could also look out for internships. You could, let's say, contribute to health related projects. You could help small clinics even digitize like the simple processes that goes on in the hospital. So you can, by that you are building visible work, right? And one thing about employers is that they trust efforts, they trust visibility, they trust demonstrated efforts more than, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, without showing any evidence that, oh, you have put in the work, you had this initiative, and you had to put in that work to bring out what you've been building for a while now. So sometimes your first opportunity basically comes from solving a small real problem. So I would always say you should put yourself out there and start volunteering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. You've actually answered my next question. So I would just like Toluwanimi to contribute to that question, which is how valuable are internships, volunteering, or side projects in this space?
Okay. Okay. The world is changing and actually changing fast. Internships, volunteering, it's projects. It's kind of tricky. There's no one size fits all actually. With the evolution of AI, people could just sit down in their room and whip up pet projects. Then use that as proof of concept. Looking at that integrally, you can say that defeats the purpose of having a project. But either way, it's not, it's pertinent to actually have a project. It's actually very important, but that alone won't define whether you can get into it or not. Volunteering is a very good way of getting into it. Internships. At the end of the day, the hope of an intern is actually to get retained permanently. So yes, volunteering, getting an internship are very good. Getting a project is very good, but it should be something you did by yourself, something you can actually defend, something you can explain to the basic level. Engine technology, tech, basically software engineering is I am of the opinion that it's shifting from just sitting down in your room and writing code. It's more of designing the system, uh, optimizing the system, and fixing it. It's not how well you can or how much you can write a code. It's about how well you can actually fix a problem, how well you can see a problem, anticipate a problem, fix it even before it occurs. If somehow it escapes you, then at the end of the day, you can still fix that problem. But if you don't understand the problem, understand what you've written before, whether using AI or not, at the end of the day, you will just be a liability and not an asset.
All right. Thank you so much for your response, Dr. Obayori. So we have our third panelist now, in person of Dr. Ayotunde Oni. Hello, Dr. Ayotunde.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you. So we started the panel discussion already a couple of minutes into it. So I'd like you to contribute to the conversation. And the question I'd like to ask you is, can you share a project or experience that shaped your journey into HealthTech?
All right. Thank you so much. First, I would like to apologize to the host and everybody present on the call. Unfortunately, I had like a very hectic call um up until this morning, and I just lost track of time now. And then my phone died, and I had to just put things together to be on the call. So apologies for that. So what project did I do? To be very honest, I started as a freelancer. So basically, I was just trying to get what I was doing back then. I was data analytics as a side hustle, to just basically take care of myself and all of that. But I would say that um my interest in health tech was more of it wasn't really it wasn't like it wasn't from a project. It was more of a personal research I was trying to do. It wasn't, I won't really say maybe a project sparked it up. I was going through a data set online while I was working on that job. And then I stumbled upon a very interesting data set on diabetic patients, and then heart failure patients and all of that. And I was like, okay, this could be interesting for me to do a machine learning, train a learning model on. And then I did it, and then I wrote an article on it, and then I put it on X, formerly Twitter, and it had a lot of engagements, and I had encouragement from my friends, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I should pursue health tech more, because initially I was more focused on just if I could do anything, as at that time, financial analytics, research analytics. So I was like, okay, let me focus more on health tech and explore deeper tech around healthcare. So yes, I hope I've been able to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayotunde, for your response. So I would say to our audience that a common thing that has been recurring, at least for all our panelists, is you don't have to be perfect to put yourself out there. Whether you're doing freelancing, whether you're learning front end, whatever it is you're learning, you don't have to be perfect in it. Just share it. Let people see you. Nobody can come to the corner of your room to know what you're doing. We need to see you, and that's the best way you can actually improve on what you're doing. So I'll go to my next question. So I would direct this question at Dr. Toluwanimi. So, which is, have you faced any challenges working in HealthTech, especially in Nigeria? And if you have, can you shed more light on it?
I think um right off the top of my head, the most reoccurring problem or the most common problem I have realized is the solutions seem not to be optimized for who they are building for. Which is why my opinion was actually directed in the direction, like it was more in the direction of you need an health professional if you're building an health solution. Like I said earlier, using the EML as an example, um, there is one thing that is common in all of them is there is no provision for intercommunication between the writing a referral from one hospital to another and all the data concerning that patient in that previous hospital is lost. You are just going with that particular letter. Every investigation that was uploaded to the EMR that don't have an hard copy are actually just gone, and then the patient goes back to doing those investigations again at another cost at a different center, which would have been avoided. Then the information one is trying to get again is basically starting the whole process all over again, and then it's wasting valuable time, valuable resources, and yeah, it all boils down to these solutions are not actually optimized for what you're actually catering for. It's although some of these are not actually attributed towards the builders alone, some of them are just infrastructure, Nigeria in general, but the idea, whether we like it or not, and whether we like it or not, we're also paying for it. And yeah, that was one problem I have come to realize over time.
All right, thank you, Dr. Toluwanimi. So, Dr. Ayotunde, have you experienced a similar challenge? And if yes, would you can you propose like possible solution to this challenge or pathways that we can use to solve it?
Thank you very much. Well, I would say my own major challenge is data, availability of data, collection of data, the bureaucracy around getting data. Because where I see myself and where I am now is heavily dependent on data, either open source, either putting in the work and resources and permission to collect data, and the technicalities around it is has been a headache. And I just really hope that the government as a whole, the hospitals, begin to see why it is very, very important that there is less friction when it comes to acquiring data, less friction when it comes to soliciting to release open source data. And it's very important because even in most, I'll say, well, I understand. Let me put it this way first. I understand why there is this friction because of data privacy and all of that. But there are still other ways to make sure that these things are available for us to use and to reduce the friction for us to use, because most of even the models we deal with, not most, most, maybe even all useful models that we would want to work on, maybe as AI engineers, as data analysts and all of that, are usually are are trained more on Western data and might not be 100% suitable for use here. And that is why it's very important for there to be less friction and there to be more access to data, and then there to be more encouragement to collect our own data. And because recently now I was working on a project where I had to um a research project where I was experimenting with different models that I wanted to fine tune. And the major problem I had was getting enough um, image data, X-rays, to train and to fine tune this model to, you know, should I use word, to make it useful for our own setting here. So I'll say the major problem for me, and that's because of the line of interest I have is data. Data is a major problem for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ayotunde. So you've mentioned data, data analytics, you mentioned doing machine learning, and I also, Toluwanimi has also mentioned doing machine learning. So besides coding, right, what are the other tech parts that health professionals can explore in health tech? I mean, my question is directed at you, Dr. Ayotunde.
Thank you for your question, Ma. Other parts. Well, I aside coding, well, it's it's sort of difficult for me to should I say answer that, because I mean at first glance everything on my head might just revolve around some coding, but I'm trying to think of, well, I know that there are people that are AI healthcare advocates. That's just what they kind of really do, advocate for the use of AI and healthcare, and the security, encouraging a responsible use rather around that. I know that there are people that are not so technical, but they just really want to um, talk about new innovations in AI around healthcare. I know of someone personally that has a podcast, Machine Dreams, although it's not heavily focused on healthcare, but it's had some episodes around healthcare. I think that those are the non-technical or non-coding aspect that directly come from the top of my head, right? And again, data collection would really help around AI in healthcare, because I mean, data collection does not um, require coding, and data collection just basically requires basic knowledge of data and how to collect data and what to need and things like that. So I'm sorry, I may not be able to give you a direct, answer. And okay, this is what they do. This is what not textbook, but because my own line of my own interest is heavily around coding, use of AI agents, and well, they are non-code tools too, but we still need to be a little bit technical about it. So yes, I hope I've been able to just say something about that. Thank you.
Yes, you have. Thank you, Dr. Ayotunde. So I'd like to direct the question to Nancy. Nancy, the answer is
Yes, thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Dr. Ayotunde. It's normal to think about health tech, and the first thing that comes to your mind are technical roles. So health tech is an ecosystem. It's quite broad. It's very, very large. So it's not when you talk about health tech, the first thing that comes to your mind is going to be like software development. So when it comes to roles that exist in health tech beyond coding, there are a lot actually. Let's start with content creators. I'm sure this is like content creation, but let's be very, very honest. When you want to think of the biggest content creator in Nigeria right now, when it comes to anything related to health, it's a Aproko doctor. That's the first person that comes to mind. So you could actually do something with yourself when it comes to content creation. And if you know that, okay, when it comes to you are actually very comfortable with the camera and you are into health, right? That should be your first way of going, that oh yes, let me go into content creation. Health product managers, UI UX designers, UX researchers that will understand, okay, how can we design this application for it to benefit health practitioners and patients, you understand? And also health researchers. We have, I think, clinical support, like the way we have tech support, we have clinical support, we have digital marketers, we even have what do they call these people? Content strategists that will think of a particular content to grow that health product you're trying to build, and health data analysts like Dr. Ayotunde, community managers, and we have customer success managers. We even have customer relations, customer experience specialists. There are a lot, even medical writers. There are lots of roles you could explore in health tech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. So I would just like to iterate before I go to Dr. Toluwanimi, I would like to reiterate what Nancy said. So she has mentioned that besides coding, there are no code tech roles, right? Such as the product health management, content creation. You don't need to code to explore these roles, so you can always check them out. So I'll go back to Dr. Toluwanimi now. Over to you.
I'm just trying to create a bridge of everything that's been said so far. In a broader sense of it's either you are a creator or you are building software or you are directing the software being built. As much as the most one of the most available options right now, or the most direct option right now is write code. It might not be the most efficient method, considering the fact if someone spends how many years studying medicine or some pharmacy, studying medicine, you spent maybe at least 7 years in med school. Yes, you might want to get into health tech, about where do you actually belong. It's far easier to actually get into tech than actually getting into health. That's why, yes, in the previous session earlier, we're talking about health tech basically. It's easier to get into tech than getting into health because it's more professional, more niche specific. And therefore, your main selling point is actually being a doctor, being a pharmacist, being a nurse, being an healthcare worker, which is something that is makes you unique in quotes. People could just come in as a software engineer and then do this. In fact, there are certain programs like AI in medicine, PhD programs that helps software engineers. One of their major postings actually, one of their major learning is actually having a clinical rotation done in the hospital, understanding the workflows basically. And then you realize that the reason why you are unique is because you are an healthcare worker. And I'm of the opinion that the most efficient, I'm not saying it's everyone is different. I write code. I can't tell someone not to write code, of course, but directing what is being built, uh, bringing your expertise, being managing development, has more of AI reward ratio compared to starting all over from writing code. Yes, you will probably need the technical expertise as you go, but if you're looking at the options, then yes, you have your content writing, you have your content creation, you have being a manager, of course, you have designing how the system will look, both for the doctors and the patients, because you are actually the one who understands. Of course, writing code to this is how this is supposed to work under the hood, because no, this is not just fintech, this is healthcare. This is how this data should be related to this data. This is an efficient way of receiving this data, transporting it to the hospitals. This is these are the protocols associated with ethics and that. Yes, of course, they are very importantly understanding the ethical part of managing healthcare data is also domain specific. This is one of these are options that could be explored for healthcare. So,
All right, thank you so much. So our time is up, but I would like to round up with this question. So if you could start your career all over again, what would you do differently? The question is for Dr. Ayotunde.
I thank you so much for the question. If I could start my career all over again, what would I do differently? I think off the bat, I would go more into research, AI research in healthcare. Um, I would put my work out early, even if it is half done, because there are a lot of things that have just been abandoned. I would connect with other people better and go out for more events, more. And I think finally, I would better seek guidance from people that have gone through the same path that I am. I think one of the things I did, or that I didn't do, was seek guidance quickly. I'm always this kind of person that wants to, get things done myself, my own way, and I'm always like ravaging the internet, how to do this, how to do that. Where there are actually other people that have gone through that same path that you have gone through, and all they need is a 10 minutes, 15 minutes call, and you guys can talk, and then you see things even in the way that you've not seen before, and that's because they've gone through that path before. So I'll say I'll reach out to people, I'll seek guidance early enough. Yeah, I think that's about what I would do differently. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayotunde. So for Nancy, I would ask that how can students build meaningful networks in health tech?
How can students build meaningful networks? Be a curious person. Be genuinely curious. As someone that took me a while to get out of my shell, I was a very, very shy person. So I could need something. I would want to gain more insights on a particular thing, and due to, I'm shy, I don't know how to reach out to this person might ignore me when I send that message on LinkedIn. I would advise you should be genuinely curious. You should get out of your shell. You should reach out to people, even though most times you might not get any response, right? It just builds you in a way that, okay, when you have the opportunity next time to reach out to someone, even meet someone in person, you could reach out to this person, hold like 10 minutes conversation with this person, and you never know, you would get more insight on that particular thing you are trying to do. And also you could attend events. Events are very, 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 very important because you would get to socialize, you meet new people from different aspects in tech. You could also ask them thoughtful questions, because while you are brainstorming, you could also hear from their own perspective. You could pick their brains a bit and like understand where they are coming from. And after you're done networking and reaching out to them, you could also follow up to build that connection and make sure that that connection is still strong. You follow up with them, and you also try to offer value when you can. So networking, like when I say, oh, networking, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, just collect contact and just reach out. It's not just about that, right? It's about building trust over time. So let's say you network with this person, and after that network, you get in a conversation with this person, and now it's time to build a particular product. And they'll be like, oh, Nancy knows how to do this thing. Let's ask her to join us to work on this project. So the way you behave, the way you collaborate, you communicate all through that project is very, very important. It's pertinent because people understand sincerity, they see sincerity, they remember sincerity, that, oh, I worked with this person and this person was that. So instead of saying I can do this, I can do this, I can do that, I know how to do this, it's best you put yourself out there. I always say you should put yourself out there. Go to events, mix up with people. Don't let imposter syndrome get the best of you. Go out, socialize, meet people, and from there you could get that big dream job of yours just by communicating with people and networking with people. So yes, that's all from my end. Thank you.
So I would like to direct this question to Dr. Toluwanimi. So what's one piece of advice you would give to a student who wants to start a career in health tech today?
I think one way or the other we've addressed this. Might not be directly, but it's been answered already. Whatever one is trying to do, the first step is actually getting started. Um, like I said earlier, what do you plan on achieving with this? What is your aim? What is your end goal? So answering those questions, we fine tune what you think you should get started. But what the most common denominator to all this is actually taking the first step. I believe everyone here has already is already taking the first step. For you to be here means there's some form of interest. Um, so getting started is the most common thing. Then looking at where you want to be in the next 5 or 10 years, and then tracking down people who have gone through that path, who are actually where you want to be. That will fine-tune your journey, make it faster, optimize your pathway, basically. And if you're planning on writing code, very easy, get started. If you're planning on doing creating content, you should be posting your videos already. Writing articles, you should have articles out already, no matter how bad they look. And then, yeah, I think getting started is the first step.
All right, thank you, Dr. Toluwanimi. So our panelists have their hands raised. I will go to Nancy first. Nancy, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Tolu, for that piece of advice. I would also like to make an addition because what he said resonates with me deeply. I would like to say, I don't know if, yeah, I would just like to say, do not be a slave to your emotions, because getting into tech, I feel like I should have gone really far in it, but I was a slave to my emotions. Like I might have a very bad day let me say, I'll have a very bad day and just rule out everything I wanted to achieve for that day. So I would say this, please do not, it's one thing to say, okay, start, but at the same time, you might want to start, but and you just be a slave to your emotions, basically. So you just don't wait for, oh, I do not feel so good today, I will do it tomorrow. And that's where um repetition starts. You continue repeating that cycle of saying, oh, I will do this, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. So just start, but at the same time, while starting, do not be a slave to your emotions. So you you start learning, you start building, and you start connecting. And actually, you do not even need a perfect roadmap, you just need momentum. So just start. At the same time, when you are starting, do not be a slave to your emotions. Thank you.
Thank you for that insight, Nancy. So I'll circle back to Dr. Ayotunde now. Over to you, Dr. Ayotunde.
Thank you very much, Blessing. I would say that if I'll be assuming that you have zero idea, zero knowledge, zero direction on what you want to do in health tech, I would say that you should um, start from watching a random YouTube video, right? Start from there. Go to YouTube, type in opportunities in healthcare, health tech, or what do people do in health tech, and then from that video, um, it could be like a spider's web, right? And then you could see something that will interest you, which you will pick up, watch another video on it, and from that, so let's say in that video you initially watched, you saw something about um, AI engineering or health, health tech, or AI engineering health tech, and then you pick that up, and then you see that okay, there are other roles. There are maybe LLM engineers, there are prompt engineers, and then from there you pick up that and you search again on okay, prompt engineers in health tech, and then you see. So it's more like you know, I'm clueless, but like what's the fun thing? What might I have interest in this area? And then you'll be surprised that along the line you could pick one or two things which you can now further do your own research about, and then you then, just like my other colleagues have said, Nancy, and then you now pick that up and just start and just do something, reach out to people that ask around that, oh, do you know anybody that is this, do you know anybody that's that, and then you just that does this or does that, and then you just start from there. But I found out that in fact the way I got into data analytics was through a YouTube video. Actually, I just searched that, oh, I was looking for what can I do to make money for me. That was what I first put on YouTube. And then I saw data analysis and I was like, very simple, do this, do that, use Excel. Of course, it didn't turn out to be very simple, but like use Excel. And then I went on and I searched about data analytics, and I saw that it was just more than Excel. I saw that there were other things that were involved, and that's how that's how I was able to get interest in data analytics before I transitioned, or I'm still transitioning into AI engineering and the like. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Etunde, Nancy, Dr. Toluwanimi. It's been a very, very insightful panel discussion. So to our audience, I'm going to reiterate that be curious, just as our panelists have said, be curious, don't procrastinate, right? Don't procrastinate. Define what you want, define where you want to be, find people who are actually doing these things already and connect with them. As Dr. Toluwanimi said, the internet is really large. You can really connect with anyone, to be honest. We have LinkedIn, we have social media. You can connect with anyone. And the worst that can happen is you won't get a response, right? Or you get a no. But you miss all of the shots that you don't shoot. So thank you so much to our panelists. Do we have any questions in the chat, admin? I can't see any questions from my hand. I don't know if there's any question in the chat from our audience. Palumi, is there any question in the chat?
No, no, there are no questions in the chat.
Okay, okay. All right. In the absence of questions, this section is actually going to be uploaded on YouTube. You'd get a link once it is available on the WhatsApp community. If you are not yet on the community, kindly indicate so we can send you the link. And you'd also get it via email. You get the video via email. So thank you, everyone, and would go into the next session shortly.